Hey guys, welcome back to Theme Park Theories, and today I'm going to be discussing one of the most popular roller coasters at the Walt Disney World Resort, which is Rockin Roller Coaster. Now, here recently, this roller coaster has been kind of under big news with a possible retheme and a takeaway of the Aerosmith band, which is kind of the main thing about this attraction is that it has a tie-in to rock and roll, specifically with the Aerosmith band. And I kind of think that's why this roller coaster is so popular. It's just because it kind of not only it has a lot of thrills, which is something different for the Disney World theme parks, just the Disney theme parks in general, but it also has a tie-in soundtrack to some very, very popular songs by Aerosmith. However, there's been a lot of talk recently about Aerosmith and Disney's partnership in this roller coaster kind of almost going to an end here. Like the time is up for Aerosmith to sort of leave this roller coaster and the licensing just sort of ending in general. So this kind of makes me think, will Disney pay Aerosmith to kind of keep that license going? Because Disney nowadays has been known specifically to kind of re-theme rides into more IP style attractions. We've seen this with such rides as like Tower of Terror over in Disney's California Adventure, where it went from Tower of Terror or Twilight Zone, which isn't a Disney-owned property, to Guardians of the Galaxy, which is fully owned by Disney now. And so honestly, I can really see the same thing happening with Rock and Roller Coaster, especially since Aerosmith really isn't the biggest band anymore kind of thing, and it's more just for nostalgic purposes, really. So I can definitely see Disney sort of using their own thing or soundtrack for Rock and Roller Coaster. However, I'm not entirely too sure what it is, so in today's video I'm going to be going in and theorizing about what I think the possible rethemes could be. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started in my first theory of Rock and Roller Coaster's retheme. So my first theory is that they are going to be transforming it into a Pixar-themed coaster on Pixar's Monsters, Inc. Now this has been a kind of big topic on if it will actually turn into a Monsters, Inc. attraction, specifically that one scene in the original movie where it had the doors and like that big old industrial kind of factory inside of the Monsters Incorporated factory with all the doors there, and you can see Mike and Sully sort of riding the doors through the factory. I think that'll work pretty well in this, since the showroom for Rock and Roller Coaster is already kind of a big industrial factory. I can honestly see them sort of retheming it to Monsters, Inc. with a lot of the doors, possibly having the soundtrack in the background. I don't know. It'll go from more of like a rock and roll to like a jazzy soundtrack, which I think could honestly still work for this style of attraction. However, my only problem with Monsters, Inc. is that Rock and Roller Coaster is a pretty intense ride that not a lot of kids honestly would like to go on because it can be a little intense and scary with all the loops and the fast launch and stuff like that. And Monsters, Inc. is kind of known to be a family or kids film due to the fact that it's made by Pixar, it's an animated movie, etc. So I can't really see this being a ride that can gravitate towards kids as far as the ride itself goes. However, it will be right beside the Cars show thing with Lightning McQueen, which will kind of make that a miniature Pixar area almost. But yeah, so I think, having that scene from Monsters, Inc. incorporated into the roller coaster would be pretty cool. However, I do think there's one more idea that is possibly better than Monsters, Inc., and this is from the Goofy movie, and this is the band known as Powerline. And here's my reasons for why I think this is a really good idea. First of all, it's a Disney-owned property, completely owned by Disney, no partnerships or anything like that, and it already kind of has a rock and roll element to it, so you don't really have to change up too much of the rock and roll theming, which is kind of a big reason why Rock and Roller Coaster is so popular, and you don't really have to change up the name of Rock and Roller Coaster either. Now, what exactly will I get from the Goofy movie for Rock and Roller Coaster? Well, this is the band known as Powerline, which is a big element of the Goofy movie. Basically just a rock and roll kind of band that Max is really into, which if you don't know, Max is the son of Goofy, etc. Another reason why I think this is a good idea for Hollywood Studios specifically is because you already have Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway almost like right down the street from Rock and Roller Coaster, which is a sort of Disney Mickey and Friends themed attraction, and I feel like it would make sense to have a Goofy one sort of in the same park, so you have a Mickey ride and a Goofy themed ride, and really all you're missing after that is just a Donald themed ride too. And even though you can honestly argue that Goofy is still a kid's sort of IP, it will still use that rock and roll element, which I feel like will kind of balance out the attractiveness of who wants to get on the coaster or not. Honestly, though, Rock and Roller Coaster could be themed to many different things. It doesn't necessarily have to be, I guess, rock and roll. It could be changing to many things. We've seen this with the Rock and Roller Coaster over in Paris, which was themed now to Marvel and Iron Man and Captain Marvel, etc. So we don't really have to see it be a rock and roll theme, but I think to fit in with Hollywood Studios, we do need some kind of music-themed attraction. So hopefully, whatever they do go with for a retheme, if it does happen, it'll be something in relating to rock and roll. However, they could just, continue the licensing with Aerosmith, and we could just have this iconic attraction, remain the way it is, which I'd be perfectly happy with because I love the way that the ride is already. I'm a huge fan of Rockin Roller Coaster. But yeah, anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Please tell me down in the comments below, what do you think Disney could retheme Rockin Roller Coaster to? If you think they'll change the story up entirely, to where it has no relation to music, or if you think they might change bands or something like that, just tell me down in the comments below. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.